We're going to start in this practice by simply noticing our breath. We'll bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. You can have your eyes closed or open. If the eyes are open, just bring them to one spot in front of you. With one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly, can you feel your breath? Notice if you're feeling your breath mostly in your top hand or your chest, or in your bottom hand, your belly. And take a moment as you're noticing your breath to maybe increase the length of your inhale and increase the duration of your exhale. Right? Breathing in. And breathing out. Now notice if you're holding your belly. So maybe the muscles around your belly feel like they're tight. Can you imagine that you could soften the skin of your belly and allow it to be full with breath? Even if it pops out a little. Now, it might feel difficult to breathe deep in the belly, so just notice if that's happening. And we recognize that all things take a bit of practice. Here we are. Let's take 3 more cycles of our own deeper breaths. And as we move through our practice, I want you to continue to notice your breath. Because when we hold our breath or stop breathing, sometimes it's a sign that whatever we're doing is too much, right? And you might take an easier variation or use that as a sign to take a break. Okay, let's take one more cycle of breath together. Let's breathe in. And breathe out. Let's do one more for good luck. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, bring your arms down and beside you. We'll inhale to reach both of the arms up overhead. See if you can look up to your hands, but reach down through your feet or press into your feet. And then right hand will come down beside you to your thigh and lean over to the right side. Take a little bit of a side bend. And then as you inhale, you'll look up, reach both of the arms up towards the ceiling, and then bring your left arm down and beside you. You can look to your hand or the foot, or you can even look up to the top hand. Okay, here we go. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, reaching over. One more inhale, reach up. And exhale over. Okay, this time we'll inhale, reach both of the arms up and interlace your fingers, placing them behind the head. So it looks like we have wings aside from us. Okay. We'll try to keep the feet pressing down into the floor. You might have to bend your knees so you feel a little bit more connected. And then start to rotate from side to side. So we bring one elbow forward at a time. You can imagine like you are the center of a washing machine, just twisting left and twisting right. You can do this slowly. Or you can do this quickly. You decide your speed. Here we are for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Okay, bring your body back to stillness, back to center, and your arms down and beside you. Okay, let's do one more warm up for our spine here. You can bring your feet as wide as they need to be. Okay, and then we'll start to roll the chin in towards the chest and start to soften your arms towards the floor. If you need to bend your knees, you're more than welcome to bend your knees. Sometimes that can help the low back feel a little looser. And then roll yourself up. Bring your hands to your lower back. Reach up through your eyes and reach up through your chest. Again, we draw the chin in towards the chest, rolling yourself down, allowing the arms to be a little bit heavy here. And then we'll roll ourselves up. Hands to the low back. Roll your shoulder blades back if you can, and reach the chest up, the eyes up. Okay, do 2 more like this on your own. Rolling down and rolling up. You can use this as an opportunity to notice if there's any spots in your back that feel really tight or really tender. And you might make any remarks if that changes. Well, when you're ready, come back up to standing. And if you're on a yoga mat, we'll come closer towards the front. If you're not on a yoga mat, it doesn't matter. You just take up space. Now I'm going to imagine that the top of my head is magnetized to the sky. From here, I'm going to lift the right knee up, bring the right foot off the floor, maybe just a little bit. Okay. Notice if you tip over to one side, see if you can straighten up through the spine. It might take a minute, and that's okay. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. Let's take a few breaths here. If this feels really easy, you can bring your knee a little bit higher. Here we go. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. And 1. Bring that foot to the floor and the arms down. Okay. We'll switch sides. Bring the left foot off the floor 1 inch. So it might take a minute to catch our balance, to find the strength of the standing leg. Think about pressing the heel into the floor quite a bit and even straightening up through the knee of the standing leg. Find that magnet at the top of your head, bringing your spine a little bit longer, and then you can reach your knee up any amount. You can also bring your foot to the floor at any time it becomes too challenging. Let's bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly, and breathe together for 3. Breathing here together for 2. And your final 1. Okay, we'll bring that foot down to the floor, and then we'll switch sides again. So you can either bring your foot 1 inch, or we can go even higher. So where you left off. The standing leg is really strong. Feel like you can hug the muscles into the leg, and then you might try to open the knee out to the side. Now, you can leave the knee like this, or if you need a little bit of support, you can bring the foot to the shin. You can bring the foot to the floor. All right. Notice how you're balancing here. It's okay to be wobbling a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Take 1 more breath. Okay, bring your knee forward and then step down. We'll switch sides. Lift the left leg up. We find the strength in our standing leg, and we try to stand up as tall as possible. Now, I like to place my hands on my belly because it helps me to focus on my breath, but you can use your hands wherever it helps to keep you balanced. Now we try to open the knee out towards the left, any at all amount. You can stay here, right? This is probably the hardest, most challenging one. Or you can rest the foot on the shin, or you can even rest the toe on the floor. So what is your right amount of challenge or strength that you want to bring towards this pose? Okay, wherever you are, 3 breaths, full breaths, whatever that means for you. Okay, bring your knee back in towards center and then place it down. If you need to shake out the legs, give your legs a little shake. Now we're gonna add on, okay? So we'll lift the right leg up and in front of us. Ooh, we'll try to balance on the standing leg. And then reach your right foot back in behind you. Now, how much is up to you. If you step back a lot, it might make balance a little bit tricky. If you bring your knee in a little bit closer, it might be easier. Okay? From here, please reach your arms up overhead. Oh, I forgot a few things. Okay, not yet, not yet. Bring your hands down. I want us to focus a little bit on the front foot. We will bend in through the front knee, right? But we don't want the knee to fall in or out too much. We try to keep the front knee going to the second toe or so, or even the middle toe. Now with the back leg, you can keep the heel down for balance or go more challenging and lift the heel up. Okay, now from wherever you are, reach the arms towards the ceiling. Here we go. You can look up. Sometimes that makes balancing a little bit wobbly. And that's okay. We try to just catch ourselves. Okay, and then we'll bring our hands towards the hips. Bend your back knee down towards the floor. But the floor is lava, so we can't quite touch it down. And then we'll straighten up through the knee. Ooh. And then lower down again. So we can take maybe just a few repetitions lifting up and down. Right? The more repetitions that you do, the stronger you will be building that muscle to be. Ooh. But if you get a little bit shaky, you might just take 1 or 2. Okay, let's take a couple more if you're still with me. Is anybody's legs burning? My legs are burning. Okay, and then when you're done, we're gonna step the foot forward. Take a breath in, and take a breath out. All right, we'll switch sides. I'll turn in this direction. We'll lift the left leg up. Woo. We try to find our balance, even if it's a little bit tricky. And then we'll slide the left foot back this time. So again, you can decide, you can bring your back heel down to the floor. Sometimes that makes it easy. Or you can lift the heel up. Okay? What's happening with the front knee? I know you know it. It's bending and it's coming over the middle toe. Okay, we can add this element of challenge by reaching the arms up overhead. Let's take 2 or 3 breaths here. And then bring your hands to your hips. And then we try those little knee dips, bringing the knee down towards the floor, but the floor is lava, so we don't quite touch it down. And then we reach it back up. Ooh, are you starting to hold your breath? See if you can take a breath in and a breath out. And try again. Here we go. Knee towards the floor. And then lifting or extending out. 2 more like this, or maybe more. Maybe you feel really strong today. I'm going to take 2 more. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to slide the foot forward, and then we let it go. So we'll take a little bit of a breather, something a bit easy, and just swing your right leg forward and back. Whew. Here we go. Like so. Okay, as we swing the leg forward and back, we just allow the arms to go as well to help us to balance. Okay, and then we'll bring the foot to the floor, switch sides, forward and back. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of strength to this movement. So we go back to the right leg, swinging forward and back. I'm going to swing, and then I'm going to try to stop the knee strong. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, stop, boom. 1, 2, 3, stop, boom. 1, 2, 3, stop, boom. 1, 2, 3, stop, hold. Woo. Okay, step your right foot back. We go back to that lunge. Reach your arms up overhead. And this time I'm going to open the right arm and open the right foot so that the back foot is now parallel to the edge of my mat. Okay? It almost looks like I'm surfing the yoga mat, right? Your front knee, where is it, do you think? Okay, it's over the second toe or the middle toe. And we bend in as much as feels comfortable. Okay, we'll reach the right hand to the back thigh, look up with your left. And then your front hand to your front thigh, reach the arm over. You might get a little bit of a stretch here. Notice where it is. Okay, and then we come back. We would say this is a warrior 2 shape. Okay. Okay, we come back to our lunge. You can either step forward or see if you can kick the knee up and in front of you. Bring the foot down to the floor and we'll switch sides. So again, the left leg is just swinging forward and back, forward and back. And then we want to catch it in the air with strength. Boom. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop. So we play it kind of like a game. It's not too serious, right? And then you'll step your left foot back. This one, we lift the back heel if we can, reach the arms up. Okay, and then we'll go into our warrior 2. Right? So we turn on the back foot, still bending in through the front knee if it's possible. You can see how low you can go. Can you go down low? No, I'm just kidding, right? So notice if as you go deeper, it starts to get stressful. So your jaw clenches or you start holding your breath, you can just bring the knee into a lesser of a bend. Okay? Reach your back hand back and behind you and your right arm up. And then bring your front arm to your front thigh. Reach the hand forward. Okay, back to your warrior 2. Arms straightening out. And then see if you can go into your lunge. If the legs aren't too tired, right? You might just come to standing. Or you can try this one more. Kick up. The knee forward. And then we'll bring the foot down towards the floor. If you need to shake out the legs, give the legs a little shake. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, and then we'll move on. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna roll the chin in towards the chest, roll the hands down towards the floor, bend your knees as much as you need to, right? And then bring the hands all the way down. You're gonna walk yourself to shins, right? So sit back on your shins. Ooh, if it's a little bit tight, a little bit tense, you don't have to sit all the way back. You can bring your hands forward. Let's take just a couple breaths here. Okay, and then we'll see if we can test out our strength on hands and knees. Okay, so we'll tuck our toes under and we'll lift the knees off the floor just 1 inch. Whew. See how that went. Okay, bring the knees back down to the floor. Okay, separate all 10 of your fingers. Press the fingers into the floor. Press the heels of the hands into the floor. Let's try again. Lifting the knees. Let's see if we can do this for 5 seconds this time. Oh, and then bring the knees back down to the floor. Oh, take a breath in and take a breath out. Okay, let's try this time for 10 seconds. If you need to bring the knees down at any time, it's totally up to you. Here we are. 5 seconds left. And then bring your knees down to the floor. Okay, do you think we should try one more? Do you think we can hold it for 20 seconds? Okay, I know some people can, so let's try it. Here we go. Lift the knees. Here we go. 20, 19, 18. Are you breathing? 15, 14. Are you breathing? 13. Okay, keep it going. And if you need to bring the knees down, that's totally okay. We remember that we can always come back and practice this another day. Ooh, okay, one more second. Bring the knees down. Allow your hips to come back. Reach your arms out and in front of you. Now you can drop your head and stack your fists underneath your forehead so it's a restful position. If it's not comfortable to have your head down like this, right, you can bring your hands onto the floor and just look around the room. Okay, we'll roll ourselves forward and we'll try something else. We'll reach the right leg back and behind us. I'm going to try to keep from falling to one side, which is going to feel really easy. So press your hands into the floor like we just did, but also think about the outer left hip getting really strong. Okay, now see if you can lift your left hand off the floor 1 inch without falling. If that's still working out, you're going to reach your hand out and in front of you. Okay, if that's still working out, you're going to bring your knee and your elbow into your chest and round. Ooh, it's tricky when it gets moving. Here we go. Inhale, get long, reach your foot and your hand away. And then exhale, knee in towards elbow. Okay, bring the hand and the foot to the floor. We're going to switch sides. Left leg goes back. Don't even think about it, right? Right hand goes forward. I know you've got this. I know you are definitely strong enough. And if you need to take a break, that's totally fine, okay? Here we go. Knee in towards the elbow. We're going to try to round in. And then reach the arm up. And then bring the knee in. Okay, and then reach the arm up. Okay, both hand and knee come down to the floor. Let's take a rest. It can be in that child's pose. You can stack your fists underneath your forehead. Okay, let's take 2 breaths, please. Okay, here we go. We're gonna roll ourselves to a tabletop. This time, tuck your toes under and lift your knees up 1 inch. Now we're gonna lift the hips all the way up, coming into a downward facing dog. Okay, now from our downward facing dog, you're gonna roll yourself forward, knees down to the floor. And then again, lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Oh. Here we go. Come back, knees touch down. And then lifting up. Okay, option number 2. So you might stay just like this, touching the knees down to the floor. We're going to take 2 more. Or you can lift your hips up and then rock forward. Your knees will never touch down to the floor and you're in a plank pose. If you want to add a push-up here, I know some people really like to take push-ups, you take it. If not, you go back to the downward facing dog or upside down V. Okay, 1 more like this, your plank pose. Knees down or not, and then your downward facing dog. Okay, bring your knees down to the floor. You can bring your elbows down to the floor. We'll create a little bit of a triangle here and rest the head. Now you can stay here as your final pose, especially if you're feeling tired now. If you've got a little bit more energy to give, we're going to roll ourselves forward. We're going to keep this triangle, okay? Interlace your fingers, elbows underneath your shoulders, okay? You're going to slide either your knees back, or if you're feeling really strong, you can tuck your toes under and lift your knees up. So we come into a low plank. Okay, we're going to see if we can hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, come back to your child's pose if you're not already there. And then we'll roll onto our backs. And we'll do our final movements from there. So we'll bring our feet onto the floor, about hip-width distance apart. Press your heels down quite a bit, so you can even stomp them a little, so you can feel your feet. And then roll your tailbone or roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Okay, and then we'll lift the hips off the mat or off the floor. And we'll see how high we can bring the hips. I want us to try to stop in the place before our breath becomes restricted or tight. And take another cycle here. Okay, and then we'll lower the hips all the way down and just reach your legs either out, or you might be comfortable here and allow the knees to fall in towards each other. Let's take a moment just to breathe and relax from that sequence. And before we end our practice, can you just name to yourself in your mind one thing that you did really well? Something that felt really strong for you today. Thank you so much for your practice, and we'll see you next time.